here already. Okay.
Well, we like that, you guys, and that's what this is over here. So it captures over here. So we've got Ustream on the blue camera. Facebook Live is the red camera. And we usually go Facebook Live right at the 11 o'clock hour. So I'm going to talk about, the commercial. I have little commercials. I'll just kind of segue in. I try to make it a natural flow into those spots, and then we'll talk a little bit about. I'll talk a little bit about your websites and Twitter or whatever you guys want me to. If you think Twitter's better for you or not, you tell me what you want me to emphasize.
Facebook is better for me.
Okay.
I do some Twitter, but not enough.
I do everything, so whatever you talk about would be great.
Awesome.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, I got some Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, so I mentioned to Stephanie, Nikki, I'm going to emphasize it to you again. I'm going to send you this tape again. But if you want me to cut it up into smaller segments, let me know based on how you want to utilize it.
Oh, I didn't know you would cut it up.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it on your own. If you don't want, if you want to do it on your own.
No.
Yeah, I just give you the whole run,
And
then if you oh God, I really love that segment. Just tell me kind of where it's at, and I'll produce that for you, and then you can pop it into Twitter. So that's a motivation for you if you're using Twitter, because you can say, hey, had this great time, blah, 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 and then you can plop the file in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the same thing with the video. We can do the same thing with the video on Twitter. I think it's a 512 megabyte size is the max for Twitter. You can upload the audio too. Okay, I'm going to put the headsets on. And tell me if it's too loud for you on the... Okay.
Public notice of Meadows at Montbello wait list opening. Meadows at Montbello is a low-income housing tax credit property for seniors age 62 and over. On Monday, May 15th at 10 a.m. through Friday, May 19th at 4 p.m., Meadows at Montbello will begin accepting pre-applications for the soon-to-be-completed units scheduled for occupancy in July 2017. Pre-applications will be accepted on the first-come, first-served basis at Montbello Manor, 4355 Carson Street, Denver, Colorado. All applicants will be required to provide a copy of a government-issued photo ID and Social Security number. Meadows at Montbello does not and shall not discriminate on the basis of race, color, sex, familial status, religion, disability, and/or national origin in the leasing, rental, or operation of these units. Applications may be downloaded from the Volunteers of America website, voacolorado.org.
Book your next social or corporate event at Fieldhouse Event Venue, the room with the view, centrally located at 1600 Federal Boulevard in Denver, Colorado. Ask about our inclusive package and treat your guests to our stunning panoramic view of the stadium and Denver skyline. And then Sundays in the Mile High City, join the family.
Diane says hi.
Who?
Diane, my wife.
Oh, hi.
4 big screens and our open garage windows. We're the next best thing to being there. Call 720-507-3457 to schedule your site visit. More information at fieldhouseeventvenue.com.
Oh, America! Are you serious? It's showtime, baby! Here we go! Slam, jam, slam, man! It's awesome, baby!
360 mindset, sharing skills and drills wrapped by stories from elite performers in your favorite sports program. So take your first step. Speak your first word with a foundation of positive thought that comes from 360 mindset and your host, Coach Whiteman. Whoa, Whiteman. Let's get started. No excuses and no regrets.
Well, good morning, everybody, and that's right. It's 360 Mindset on KUHSdenver.com. I am so pleased to have my guests with me today, Nikki and Stephanie. We're going to talk about nutrition, both from the inside and the outside, and trying to identify that balance and that connection between those two parts of what you need to be concerned about when you're kind of feed yourself, basically, get some good vibes going. But before we get too much into the introductions and asking them to talk instead of me, because that's many times a better thing to do, I just want to emphasize a couple of things that are important to me. One is this little red nose I got right here. It's Red Nose Day. That's what it looks like, but it makes me talk kind of funny like that. But Red Nose Day, rednoseday.org for fundraising for kids that are facing challenges in life related to nutrition, related to feeling good about themselves because poverty has grabbed them and is holding them back. Great kids, wonderful kids. Go to your local Walgreens and get your red nose. Or do like I did. Buy several of them and give them to somebody and say, here's a challenge for you. Go give a red nose to someone else. Take the challenge. So Red Nose Day, rednoseday.org. So on my right, all the way to my right, is Nikki Burnett. Nikki Burnett is we call you founder? Is that what we call you?
Founder, owner. Sure.
Chief cook and bottle washer?
Yeah, all of you.
Yeah.
Marketing, a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Isn't that great to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
I love entrepreneurial spirit.
Just a few hats.
Yeah. So Nikki's firm is called Taste Life Nutrition. I love that name, Taste Life and Be Nutritious, or just Taste Life Nutrition. Go to her website at tastelifenutrition.com, right? To check up on what Nikki's doing. Then next to her and to my immediate right is Stephanie Ajakian. And Stephanie, I'm going to ask you about the origin of that last name because that is killer last name.
It's Armenian.
Okay, I was going to say Greek. I was close. I was really close. Okay, so Stephanie is, she's going to get compliments from me all the time about her service to our country, being a military person. But at the same time, more importantly to me, is she's a great massage therapist. And she's got a mindset, for me anyway, you tell me if I'm wrong, a mindset that she connects mind, body, from inside and out, and has a philosophy that look at what we do on the outside of getting the nerves ready to go and feeling relaxed and stimulated to a certain degree. They also need to be in balance with the internal nutrition so that we're getting good things from both sides, right?
Right, absolutely.
Awesome. And she's got some awesome topical lotions that she uses. I've talked before about the uses of cannabis and cannabis-based oils, essential oils. We're not going to talk too much about that today. I'll let her do that if she wants. But we're talking about nutrition, inside and out, on 360mindset.com, at KUHSdenver.com, and making that connection. We're also going to be talking a little bit about, okay, we got the connection. Nikki and Stephanie are going to talk about their individual pieces to that, and then we're going to discuss about how to connect that in our first segment, which is always mindset, creating that mindset about how to get yourself rocking and rolling with your internal stuff. And I'm going to start the questioning with Nikki about what are some of the foundational considerations, Nikki, that it's going to create that positive mindset so people are optimizing their nutrition from your perspective.
Well, I think there are a couple of things. For one, there's a lack of understanding of what food really is. Food is communication. Food is what tells our body what to do.
So it's not just what I pick up and put in my mouth?
No.
Okay. Because when I was a kid, I picked up dirt,
all kinds
rocks.
of stuff. Well, that's not, well, maybe not rocks.
Okay.
Dirt's not always bad. But food, in and of itself, is what tells the body, tells the cells, tells our DNA what to do. So if we're eating clean, unbroken food, then our body and our cells, and down to our DNA, because our DNA can change, it's getting a clean, clear message, and it knows what to do. If you're eating, broken food, unclean food, the toxins, the metals, the pesticides, just junk food, then it's sending a really unclear and unclean message, and the body becomes confused. And so it sends out what's called a cell danger response, which is in time, inflammation, disease, on and on. Yeah.
So quickly with the clean food, help me understand, because I'm kind of stupid sometimes because I'm a guy. And I'm walking through the grocery store and I have to pick up snacks or food for the day. What would I look for to get clean food?
Clean food. I like to say organic. It doesn't always have to be organic if you know where the source is coming from. But as far as meat's concerned, 100% grass-fed meat, 100% pastured chickens and eggs.
Okay.
So one of the quick things that I like to look for if you need something on the go, everybody loves beef jerky.
Oh, you hit a chord with me a few weeks ago about that.
Yeah.
Put that in my bag. Beef jerky.
I love
that.
beef jerky. It's great. And it's a great source of protein as long as it's 100% grass-fed. Good stuff. Boiled eggs are great. right? So
Yeah.
those are quick things. Your produce, always organic unless you're getting it from the farmer's market and you know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And so those are the things to look
Okay,
for.
so this is
Good healthy veggies.
good quick hits.
Yeah.
So switching gears, same question, but for Stephanie about optimizing my nutrition on the external side of things, perhaps making some connections early with what Nikki said as well. But from your perspective, that external connection of optimizing my nutrition.
Sure, I think just listening to your body, being in tune with what your body is telling you, if you're feeling, from a massage perspective, if your muscles are feeling tight, kind of figure out where that's coming from. What are you doing? Are you stressing yourself out so badly that you're creating this problem in your muscles?
Yeah.
Are you doing activities? Are you taking time for yourself to stretch, just to relax and to listen to your body?
So on the external side, the responses are probably a little bit more concrete because stiffness is stiffness, soreness is soreness, right? But do we always know precisely what the source of that is?
No, it can be difficult to tune into your body. There's things that happen. A lot of people come in with lower back pain, for instance. A lot of times that's a problem that's created in the hips. Same with neck pain. Jaw pain can start in the hips. Lower areas of the body can affect other parts of the body. So it's not always something you're going to know immediately what's causing it.
Yeah.
But
could we get body aches and pains from what we're not doing very well on the internal nutritional side of things? Like what we eat could cause some physical responses, I guess?
Sure. I mean, there's things all over the spectrum there. I mean, you go anything from, food allergies to not eating getting the right nutritional foods.
Because I know when I came in for my massage, you're not, and by the way, everybody, you should know this. This lady is like anal detail oriented. I mean, it's just like that in itself is a way to judge whether she's good at what she does. I went through like I was going to a lawyer, to paperwork. It was awesome, making sure I was protected and make sure. But that's not my point. Okay, get on track. Hydration.
Yes.
Was the thing.
Hydration.
So why is that important? Okay, I like to drink water. I'm in Colorado. We always have to hydrate. But why?
Sure. Water is
good.
Yeah, it's really, really good for you. If you're dehydrated, you're depleting your body of necessary.
Well, I know on the cellular side of things, we've got electrolytes. The cellular walls get shrunken. They get depressed. So we get like you said, allergies. You get skin irritations and stuff. I'm sure you're asking people to take their clothes off, and because you have to, so you're going to see things, and those are going to be indicators of where you need to go, the path you need to take. So one of the reasons, guys and gals out there, that I'm asking Stephanie and Nikki to get together is I wanted to introduce them to one another, because I think that to this point, if you see somebody who's got a rash or something, now you might have that resource of being able to say, I think you need to talk to Nikki, because you might need some nutritional help. Is that safe to say?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So Nikki, what would be your thoughts on those discoveries from a massage therapist point of view about seeing those signs? I mean, muscle tightness, stressors, lower back, all those things that are generalized by the public, but to hone it in so that people get solutions and not just keep talking about, I really feel bad today. Can you fix me?
Yeah, I think that's the beautiful thing about where we're moving as a healthcare society is we're becoming more holistic, and we as practitioners want to have those partners surrounding us that we know where to send people to. So I consider myself very holistic. I look at the internal, I look at the external, I look at stress and sleep and toxic load, so forth. But what I know is if it comes down to somebody is tense and sore, I am not a massage therapist.
Yeah.
And so I can do a lot of things, but I can't help them stretch, and I can't help them to get the knots out of their muscles. But I can tell them, you need to drink more water. This is going to help you to cleanse and detoxify and pull out those toxins.
Okay, the water is one thing, and that's a very, very quick and general. I don't want to simplify it, but it's a generalized statement that a lot of people make. Like, I'm going to go make a climb in the mountains, and I'm going to do 1,000-foot, elevation in 30 minutes. Oh, be hydrated. Stay hydrated. Oh, well, there may be more to that than just being hydrated. So, are there any elements nutritionally that people are intaking that enhance the chance of having sorer muscles, having more, maybe a spazzing of muscles and tissue that they should, hey, you need to back off on this?
Well, I would say a lot of it's a lack of electrolytes.
Okay.
So if you are going to do a long hike or climb a 14er,
Mm-hmm.
then take the electrolytes with you. And
Okay.
have those
Examples.
examples: potassium, magnesium, calcium, sodium.
And then in what kind of drinks? Where do I find them?
I like powders. I always use professional lines. So I have a powder,
Okay.
which it makes it easy because you can put it in your water bottle and take it with you.
Okay.
And
Here's
I
a
like
moment
the-
for a plug. Go to her website and find out about the powders, right? Because you
Well,
have some reference there.
well, I don't. I have a little bit, but I have professional lines that I use, not one. There are several, so it always depends on the individual.
Okay. So then note to self, put the powder to.
Yes, just call and ask me. There are a couple that I use that I really like.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So with that knowledge, then, Stephanie, of somebody's on your table and you're trying to get all the knots out and the stiffness and you get done and you do the assessment like you do and you ask them, hey, how did things go? And they go, well, I still feel a little sore, a little tight. Is that sometimes in your mind's eye? Where do you take that mindset? You heard that person say that. Where do you go with that when they're leaving you?
And they're still sore.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes multiple sessions. It can be stuff like dehydration as
Mhm.
well, definitely playing a part into that.
Okay.
We also do, when we do massage, we push toxins out of the muscles. So you could need a flush of those toxins as well. So there's just several factors that can play into that.
Okay. So are you then recommending that people be aware of certain things once they leave you? In addition to you saying, hey, make sure you hydrate after you leave, are there any food groups or food types that you would say, hey, like for example, for me as a coach, we had just a really hard workout, tough muscle working workout. And we say, listen, you need to get protein in your system within the first 2 hours after you leave me. You have comments like that you say to them?
The only thing that really comes to mind is avoiding caffeine.
Okay.
Immediately
Stimulants
after a
of the-
massage. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
So no Red Bull?
No.
Monster drink?
No.
Take that off my list. Okay. So, just kidding, people. Okay, so we're staying focused. So let's shift the gears from the public, the people that are looking to improve themselves, maintain where they're at. Let's amp it up a little bit. Does it change? Does what you say change for the higher level performer, whether it's a C-suite executive who's constantly on the move and training both his body and his or her body and mind, or it's the professional athlete? Does what you say change to them? Nikki, I'll go to you first.
We all are individual and have our own unique needs.
Mhm.
I think it's hard to say. Somebody that's a professional athlete is going to have different nutrient needs and energy needs versus somebody that sits on a couch. We want to be really careful with that. But I think it's important that we all are getting the appropriate healthy proteins, the appropriate healthy fats, the appropriate healthy carbohydrates, which are going to be vegetables, not bread, not pasta, and good starches, sweet potatoes, bananas, things like that. So,
I got to take more notes to take that off my list. Difficult.
the carb loading is not a good thing.
But what if I'm running a big race? Aren't we supposed to
Good
carb
fat?
load?
No.
Oh,
Good
okay.
fat. Healthy
Okay.
fat. Your body will use the fat for energy.
Can I still do the chocolate?
Sugar, low sugar, high cacao chocolate. Yes.
What if I'm constantly desiring chocolate? How do I get rid of that addiction, that drive for chocolate? Sugar.
Oh, sometimes it's serotonin. Sometimes the sugar can help to push serotonin into the cells. And so
Oh.
if you're craving sugar, it could be a serotonin issue. It could be you're having a blood sugar issue. There are so many different factors that go into craving sugar. But
So let me shift gears real quick to Stephanie then. Do you get indicators of disease states from people? I mean, other than the obvious thing which you might see on skin and stuff, but do you get an idea from behavior changes from when they come in versus when they leave, that there may be something you might need to direct them to someone, or is it too simplified with the massage therapy?
It's an individual thing again, kind of like Nikki said.
Yeah.
Everybody's a little bit different. We see a lot of stuff with the skin, so we notice a lot of things happening with that. As far as other there's crazy stories that I've read about massage therapists catching things like the beginning of a heart attack based
Really?
on the way people's ankles are swelling, or so I've never personally had an experience like that, or catching skin cancer, catching all sorts of things that are going
With
on.
me, it'd be sleep apnea because I would just pass out.
Yeah.
On the table. And you go, he needs help.
Right. Well, now that you say that, actually.
Oh, darn, I gave up the secret. Well, on that giggling note, I'm going to take a little bit of a break and shift gears just a little bit because, as I've said before, you have to breathe and make sure that you're always taking care of yourself in that breathing routine. And here's the song that I love, as you all know. It's these two young men that produced this song years ago when I was a middle school math teacher, and they just surprised dickens out of me with this song, Breathe. But as they play in the background, I want to promote again Stephanie Ajakian. That's Armenian, by the way, everybody. It's Armenian. I love that. And Bodhi Body Spa, that's in Broomfield, Colorado. Just Google that, but it's bodhibodyspa.com. Correct?
BodyBodyStudios.com.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bodystudios.com. And then we've got Nikki Burnett, nutritionist at tastelifenutrition.com. Reach out to both of them there. I'll tell you right now that you're going to find Stephanie on social media far more often than you will Nikki. That's a hint, a motivational hint. We're here to help.
I'm working on it.
We're driving it, and we're gonna help her with all these great things. But as we all have to just take a big breath. Exactly. You can count on me, that's for sure. Here at 360mindset.com on our website, and 360 Performance Talk on KUHSdenver.com every Friday at 11 a.m. We're in our mindset segment, finishing that up. Getting a good mindset, setting up a mindset that you're going to be optimizing your nutritional needs both internally and externally, trying to make that connection. And as we get into the skills segment, which is our next segment, we're going to talk about that connection. But as I say that, I want to also remind you of the rest of May, our schedule for May at 360 Mindset Performance Talk. Next week, we're going to be kind of doing a lead-in to the Boulder. Actually, we're gonna go twice that week. We're gonna go Thursday live and Friday repeat of Thursday's show and talk about the Boulder. We'll talk a little bit about the Boulder here today as it relates to our topic of nutrition inside and out, so that those of you who are wearing that crazy hula skirt, in the Boulder, or you got, the Hawaiian outfit on, or maybe you're just an exotic dancer, I don't know. Whatever you're gonna be at the Boulder, you're gonna try to have fun doing it and do it in a healthy, nutritional way, both inside and out. All right, there you go. That's our break on the segment, going from our mindset segment into skills segment. This, I think I have an answer for this for myself, but I'm gonna ask you guys. Are there any special skills I need to know to have a massage? Do I have to have any special skills?
Kind of, actually. A lot of people don't know how to relax.
Oh, there you go.
So know how to relax. Yeah.
So relaxing is good. Okay, so go through some things. We breathe. That was kind of a good lead in on that. So there's some skill there, right?
Yes.
Any hints on breathing? So when you're doing a massage, like a deep tissue massage of some kind, or whatever version they've asked for, you're instructing them about breathing techniques, or just say, make sure you breathe with me, or don't hold your breath, or
I watch people for breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people hold their breath. That's kind of how I can gauge pressure. Some people don't want to tell you that you're hurting them. So I watch to see if people are holding their breath. So, make sure you're breathing, check your breathing, check in with clients to make sure that they're
awesome. And then what do you recommend to them? They're trying to breathe. Is there a rhythm you want them to be into with the way the massage is going, or is just breathe normally?
Just breathe normally.
Okay. So same question for you there, Nikki. Are there any skills I need to know to be good in optimizing my nutrition?
I think one of the most important things is having a good positive attitude about it. Knowing and believing and understand that the body it's got this God-given innate beautiful ability to heal and to perform, and that's what it wants to do if we give it the right tools. So having that positive attitude and having the support around you and the people around you, whether you're trying to do the Boulder or you're trying to come out of a disease state, or if you are the executive or the basketball player and you're trying to get to that next level, being surrounded by the positive and then believing in your body that it can do it and it will do it and understanding what those tools are.
Now, here's what I'm going to add to your comments
Mhm.
is, and I've said this before in my sessions about planning, because people don't, make the time to plan, but they'll sure bitch about it.
It's true.
Oh, I feel so tense. I feel so, okay, well then get up out of the chair and go see, Stephanie and get a massage, or, look at the snack you've got on your desk. Is that really what you want to put in your body? Now that's maybe a voice in your head, or maybe it's the friend in the room that shows up every once in a while asking you to go out and get some Red Bull.
Please.
No Red Bull. Deep to compress the caffeine stuff. So I talk about making sure you have a plan every week. I tend to say Saturdays or Sundays, make a plan so that you can make a conscious choice about what's going to be good for you in optimizing yourself. So I'm going to ask you a question about frequency. I'm going to start with Stephanie about how often, in just general terms, no real maladies about soreness or overworked stressors or anything, but just in kind of a normal cycle of things, once you've kind of got people foundationally stable, how often should we get a massage?
At least monthly.
Okay. And then as things kind of build up in your schedule, what are some indicators that you would recommend to people be watchful of before the soreness hits, the extremes scenario hits? What are some things you would ask them to watch for to kind of up that game every month?
Their level of stress.
Okay.
Is a big one.
And I would say if I started to breathe really incessantly and can't control it,
Right.
I'd probably say I'm stressed. Here's what I say to people about that, because I've got athletes who I say to them, the environment is an impact on what and who you are. So you've got to watch the environment. So what was it recently? There was, Steve Harvey came out with his announcement to his staff about, or I guess it was divulged to the public about how you can't see me without an appointment. If my door is closed, don't knock and just come in. So he's like managing his stressors, right? And I suppose his measurement stick is if we knock on his door and just bust in, you might be having a bad week. You should go see Stephanie for a massage. Or take that Red Bull off your counter, because Nikki said you shouldn't be drinking the Red Bull. So I guess if we were aware of our environment, would you agree that we have some indicators to know when it is appropriate to make those appointments? And if I do I have to go see you, or can you come see me?
Well, we can come see you, or you can come see us.
Okay.
Way.
So because I don't know that everybody knows this about massage therapists. I mean, not everybody walks through the malls and sees the guy standing in the hallway with the chairs.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm being facetious, but it's a real thing, people. Massage therapy has gotten a hold of technology and constructive, positive ways to deliver great service, and one of those is those massage chairs, right?
Yes.
And then you've got the full-blown tables that you take around.
Yes, I've got one in my car right now.
This girl is like struck. I mean, she's so, because you have to be. I mean, you're doing some great work for people. So okay, so you can come to them. You've got those portable chairs, so it's very convenient. They can come to you, and I'm guessing, to my point about environment, the environments are different, right? So what is the optimal environment for you to deliver the best of the best for massage therapy for you?
That's a good question. That's a great question. Actually, I've never been asked.
Because when I first saw it, well, not just you, but I mean, I've been other massage therapists. It's really a sedate environment. The lighting is dimmed.
Mm-hmm.
It's to mood alter and calming kind of thing. Music is usually a certain type or sound. You're not blaring Metallica, that kind of stuff. It's a little bit more soothing. And temperature, I'm guessing, is also a consideration.
Yeah, and ideally, the temperature the client should be a little bit cold, and the therapist should be a little bit warm.
I would hope so.
Otherwise,
cold hands,
we're sweating, or everybody's freezing. It's no fun to be naked, freezing cold. Well,
Yeah. Well, so there's some signs here we're talking about. We're talking about for people going in for their first time for a massage, because we're recommending, look at massage therapy, and it is a process that you need to plan for and put into your schedule. So when you go to for the first time, you're going to ask questions about it, the environment, ask questions about the environment, be specific about what you want.
Yes.
And you have certain things that you require that a client do for themselves and you before they show up. What are some of those things?
In terms
Besides drink water.
Right.
There's paperwork they have to fill out.
Yes.
And why is that important? What are some of the things that are important about that?
There's certain things that we can't do massage for.
Mhm.
We can't, for example, certain, like I was talking about, certain skin conditions, they're contagious. We don't
Right.
want to spread that to ourselves or our other clients. There's other certain things that could actually cause you harm
Yeah.
by getting a massage. So we want to make sure that we have an intake of your medical history so that we can give you the proper.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's alternatives. Energy work is a great alternative if you can't get physical body work.
Yeah. And then the other thing I want to make sure that people know about a massage therapist environment is expect to be there dim lights, music that may not be your genre, but it's important to set an energy in the room, and the temperature we mentioned, and then there may be some smells because there's candles sometimes, essence, there's essential oil smells. So make sure you're sharing with your massage therapist about any allergies you might have, skin conditions, as you said. So now that I've said all that and kind of set the stage for an environment, I don't have to have a special environment to eat. Doesn't matter. If it's chocolate, I'm going to eat it. Doesn't matter where it's at. So Nikki, when it comes to the internal side of nutrition, are there any things you advise people to be aware of in regards to the environment and where they eat and the conditions that are around them when they eat to make sure they get an optimized intake?
Yeah, it's really it's such an amazing difference that can happen with people that will sit either in front of their computer while they're working and eat versus if they sit at a table and are enjoying their food
Mhm.
while they eat. It's a sympathetic versus parasympathetic action that's going on. So if you are in a sympathetic mode while you're eating, which is when your body is in that fight or flight mode, then actually all of the blood goes to your extremities instead of to your digestive tract. And so you don't digest your food properly. Versus if you sit at your table, you smell the food, you enjoy the food, you say your prayer, you do what you typically do, that puts your body into a parasympathetic mode, which is rest and digest, and allows the body to utilize all of the nutrients that you're feeding it. So if you're eating good, healthy food, you want to know that your body's utilizing it.
Have you ever seen a high school senior football player eat anything? I mean, when they eat, it's like back up because you're going to get started on fire because there's sparks and there's all kinds of flailing going on. It's an amazing scene. And then it amps up a little bit when you go to a college training table and you see guys eat their food it's like it's like they're praying. They're all bent over and lots of things are going on. Yeah,
and doing their phone and
I thought I was at a Marine Corps gathering actually. You ever seen the guys, with the plates?
Sounds like basic training.
Yeah, exactly. They tell you only have so long you can eat this or you're out of here. Yeah, or you're done or you're going to take it with you.
Yeah.
And I'm being funny about it mainly because I want people to listen. I think humor is a good way to release you to be a better listener and to pay attention and be engaged. So on the serious side of things, the parasympathetic sympathetic scenario you put in there is basically help your body to like what's going in and be prepared to take it in.
and to use it.
Yeah, so that when here's our first point of connection with massage therapy and the nutritional internal side of things is that if the body's not ready neurologically and muscularly to receive that food, it's not going to optimize its breaking it down and intaking all the nutrients, okay? Now that's me talking. You're the experts. I want affirmations. Validate me, please.
You're right on target.
Okay, so young people out there, pay attention to what mom and dad say because now they've got experts backing them up about enjoy your food. Sit down and have a good family meal.
It's so simple.
Yeah, it is absolutely so simple. And it reminds me, I'm here thinking about locker rooms when I go into locker rooms because a lot of times that's the place where they eat their meals, right? Or after practice, we'll have a whole table set up in the locker room of pizzas. I very seldom see an artichoke on the pizza, or chicken, grilled chicken. I mean, the dough or the bread that's in the carbs, they're not so bad, but we don't. After that, it's not good at all. And I'm being very generous in my talking about being good, right? Now, this is a lead into our next segment, and we're going to talk about mental condition. And about planning and setting goals, and the American Football Coaches Association article on nutrition that both of you had a chance to look at about how coaches make excuses for not being able to provide the nutrition. And yet, as they do that, they also know that it's really important to have all that stuff because they're reconditioning, renewing the guys to get back out there from the sore muscles and with fuel in their bodies so that the muscles can respond and have the twitch in there. All right, that's my soapbox for the break, okay? We're here with Nikki Burnett and Stephanie. This is a great name. I'm going to change my name. Ajakian. And we're talking about nutrition, the inside and outside goals you should be considering when you are desiring to be optimizing your nutritional self. We have, if I can figure out the technology here, there we go. I love these little guys. It's always my break song, breathing, because I have a tendency to hold my breath every once in a while. And we're going to talk about mental conditioning in this next segment and planning our day to be optimal in our nutritional intakes, both internally and externally. You can, I hope you will, reach out to Nikki and Stephanie at their collective or their respective websites. Nikki's website is tastelifenutrition.com, and Stephanie's is Bodhi Body
Studios.
Thank you. It's an S word. BodhiBodyStudios.com. And I want to take honor to our international people out there. I'll turn here so I can read. Gosh, we've got a great Tunisia, Canada. Canada's always a good supporter of us. Brazil is also South America in general, but Brazil's always a regular for us. And Asian countries like Singapore. And we've also got Turkey, Ankara. I like that. That's the first time for Ankara, Turkey. I pointed out to Nikki and Stephanie that it's important to know that our international listeners and viewers have a tendency to take a vacation every once in a while and wind up in Colorado. So if you do, check these two ladies out, give them a look-see on their websites, and find out what's new and exciting with them. And before I forget it, Red Nose Day, right there. I have no humility.
I love it.
I just go for it. Okay, that is rednoseday.org. Help those kids out there that are facing some challenges, but are fighting through it. Definitely, they're breathing. They're making it real for themselves. We're here on 360 Mindset Performance Talk on KUHSdenver.com. Having a great time. Our next segment is on mental conditioning. We're going to talk a little bit about planning and how to set good plans for each day and each week. And I'm going to go to that article because it made me feel good, but it made me feel bad that there were so many excuses in here. It was a well-written article. Adam Reed wrote an article for the American Football Coaches Association, May-June 2017 issue. And a couple of things that came out was that he found out that coaches have a different mindset in their mental condition about nutrition. They tend to say, well, we have limited funds. Our resources, we just don't have the resources for it. Well, that being said, we've just talked about things that you don't have to have resources. It's knowledge. What's that phrase? Knowledge is power?
Yep.
Interesting how that goes. So the coaches could just inform these kids about, hey, here's what we want you to do. You go out and do it on your own. You got a meal plan at college, or you got mom and dad at home. There's no excuse for you leaving the house without a snack. Beef jerky. Tell mom and dad to buy you beef jerky.
Healthy beef jerky.
Oh, this grass-fed.
Not any beef jerky.
Yeah, not any beef jerky. Because a lot of it has fillers in it. You're right. So read the labels. Read the labels. The other one that you mentioned a while back, Nikki, was coconut. Love that.
Yeah.
And there's some not energy bar, but the snack bar people that make the dark chocolate and coconut, which is I got into those the other day. That was a tragedy. Lots of wrappers around my feet and boxes.
Can't stop.
It was bad. So I want your guys' comments on that as what I just led you into about these are high-performing young men and women in NCAA sports. Now, the focus was on football in this article, but the points can be made across the board. And especially if football can't afford it, softball's going to have trouble because they're not the primary sport, right? Or women's professional basketball is going to take a backseat to the men's NBA stuff. So, Stephanie, what do you think about what these coaches had to say about that? And from your perspective, is getting them ready after hard practice. For me, I see guys, we have we actually went out and bought cattle troughs, watering troughs, and put ice water in them. So as they walked off the field in practice, full pads. Well, I think they took their shoulder pads off. but full gear, and just dove into the thing, right? And then after that was it. That was it. That was all we did. So talk about timing, messages. What should schools be doing? How can these kids help themselves be prepared for the next day muscularly?
I think you nailed it with a cheap, easy way to do it. Like you said, you don't need resources necessarily to make an impact. So finding creative and new ways to solve those problems.
Yeah. Have you had an opportunity to either have a conversation with or actually provide massage therapeutic methods to athletes, either whether they're pro or not, just maybe they were an athlete or are an athlete recreationally? What are some of the things you're hearing them say about the difficulty of getting into the pattern they're now into with you with the massage therapy? What are some of the things they've said to you?
I think they just don't realize how important it is when they start out, and then they see the results over time. And just getting into that pattern can be challenging.
Is there a time period that you think many people have to go through to get foundationally kind of settled? Like they come into in a certain condition, and then you take a certain amount of time to get them kind of stabilized, and then so they have that routine, that at least once a month thing?
It varies.
Yeah. Are there any particular things that are common that you're seeing that people overwork themselves, or what are the common things?
My sister is a classic example. She's a marathon runner, and she gets bursitis in her hip.
Oh, geez.
So, again, knowing when to relax and when to get into those routines.
Are you giving people like your sister and others points about structural things? Or, I know for me, I wear inserts in my shoes now because it helps me to maintain the balance in my hips. And I make sure that I do certain things, not necessarily static or dynamic stretching, but just a certain kind of stretching to make sure I stay like my PT person. She's always getting on me about my posture. Why is that?
Absolutely. You can't help but notice the body when you're working on it. So I ask a lot of questions. Do you sit on your wallet in your back pocket? Do you sleep on your right side? Are you left-handed? What kind of job do you have?
And you ask those in your forms too, don't you?
Some of those questions I do. Some of them I don't. Just kind of depends. A more occupation, I think, is in the forms as opposed to, do you sleep on your right side, or are you a stomach sleeper? You start to see certain patterns within people, and then I give recommendations on how to change those patterns. It's called repatterning. So we try to repattern people in ways that will affect them in their day-to-day lives.
I'll give some examples of ways to help you discipline yourself, because getting into a pattern and breaking the pattern are two different things. And many times people aren't willing to break the pattern, which is kind of good in a business sense. They keep coming back to you, right?
It's job security.
Yeah, exactly. So then, Nikki, on your side of things, with these coaches that you in the article about what they made, the statements they made, and I have to take a little bit off here. Adam Reed wrote a great article, and as the article progresses, he offers some of the simplified examples, but he's not a massage therapist. He's not a nutritionist. So from your perspective as a nutritionist, Nikki, what are some of the things that they could do without having to spend a whole lot of money?
Well, I think the first thing that I want to say is we need to look at this not as what's happening today, but what are we setting these kids up, or even these young adults, for the future by giving them the breads and the pastas and the pizzas, because what's happening for 99.9% of the population is it's creating inflammation. So we're not giving them energy. We're not feeding them energy. We're feeding inflammation, which decreases performance, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we really want to think about. So if we're, even just if we're just bringing in small amounts of good veggies and fat, I would say, because fat is filling, bring in things that are higher in good healthy fats, the avocados, the coconuts, things like that. So maybe a little bit less expensive than meat would be, but more filling, but also going to be feeding energy. And then things like sweet potatoes are going to be filling with lots of fiber, bananas. It just frustrates me so bad to think that that these things are that the pizza is more important for now, but what's happening later.
Well, speed of entry, and I'm not talking about eating. I'm talking about how quickly you can get it on the plate. And I've been a teacher. I've been a student in the cafeteria, running through the lines. I've been in the military stuff too. Big lump of whatever that stuff is they just threw on my tin plate. But I've been in all these different environments, and simplicity seems to be the biggest deterrent from promoting healthy nutrition optimizing kinds of strategies and behaviors. So for me, I keep coming back to the planning part and that setting the discipline up. Okay, it's your body. At some point, nobody else is going to be responsible for that except you.
Yep.
So the choices you make, as you're pointing out today, or the choices mom and dad, teachers, cafeteria workers, the government, believe it or not, about our nutritional. I mean, Michelle Obama, couldn't she have stayed a little bit longer, and impacted the nutritional platform that schools are working on? But at any rate, that's a whole other subject, is to talk about that you need to get into a planning mode every day, every week to set up those opportunities to put in the things you just mentioned, the good fats, the grass-fed beefs, the good proteins, because they're not always that expensive and they're easy to get. What are some other thoughts that you have, Nikki, about the high performance athlete at a younger age? I mean, I'm going to be going to Houston today, actually, to talk to over 150 individuals, a combination of moms and dads and their sons that are elite baseball players in club baseball. Now in Texas, those young men could be actually drafted at the age of 17. That's just mind-boggling to me, and have a wonderful, wonderful life. But right now, they're trying to understand what's my responsibility as a young man, and mom and dad is trying to let him go, release them. So, what would you say to moms and dads about helping their young man, their young athlete, to be disciplined about their nutrition?
I think being involved in their own nutrition. So being involved, it maybe sounds silly, but taking them to the grocery store once in a while and showing them where the food comes from. I have heard so many times that kids don't even know where their food comes from. So getting them in the kitchen.
You mean it's not Frigidaire?
But I know.
I thought it was Frigidaire.
But at least every now and then, getting them to the grocery store, then in the kitchen, but then more than anything, having the right foods available, because as kids are going to come in from practice, they're going to grab whatever's in the pantry and then they're going to leave again. And so having available to them the things that are good choices and then educating them whenever the time is right on what those good choices are and why they're good choices, I think is really important. They need to understand the food, and we as a society, we don't understand food.
Well, and to your point, in the article from AFCA and Mr. Reed, he talks about educate, get some understanding. Like you said, go to the grocery store, learn. Mom and dad, segregate the refrigerator out and give them permission to go into this particular section that you just made for them and say, hey, anything in that area you can pick out, put in your backpack, and take it with you because it's stuff that you need. And that will help reinforce them taking responsibility, being accountable for, because the consequences that Reed also talks about is guys on supplements, and I'm not saying supplements are bad, but some of them are. Let's say the good ones. Let's talk about the good ones. Well, if you take a supplement, many times they need to be taken with food, and they're not told that, and so they have an irritation, or they're not hydrated enough because the supplement takes away some of the liquid, so they pass out. Oh, darn! Hard to hike or catch or throw or run with the ball if you're not conscious. So
funny how that works.
Yeah, it is. So then structurally, Stephanie, what would you recommend to moms and dads about helping young athletes, high performance athletes, be it pro or amateur, be more body aware?
Open communication, I think, is essential. Talking to your kids and saying, how are you feeling? I noticed that you're limping, or I noticed that you're doing X, Y, and Z. What's going on? Just clear, open communication, making sure that they're stretching, making sure that they're, physically active. I mean, obviously they're athletes, they're physically active, but making sure they get rest too.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad you ended up with rest. Here's my experience to your point. I've had moms and dads come back to me and say, they just won't listen to me. They know, and they do know. I mean, they like you said, they've been around it. They've practiced for years and years and years. By the time an athlete is in their teens, they may have had upwards to 10 or more years of being very competitive and being coached and trained. Okay, now that doesn't give mom and dad a free pass to let them alone, because as you said, they come home, they're limping, they're kind of getting off the couch slowly. or sitting down uncomfortably, and you might want to ask those questions. And moms and dads should start acting like coaches instead of parents. And that's been something I've learned recently about starting a dialogue with kids about not, you need to go into the bathroom and fix that, or you need to stop doing that. That's a parent comment. And the flip of that is, let me understand what's going on. I see you're limping. Are you in pain? And that's like therapeutic. That's like being a counselor or a coach. So I'm encouraging moms and dads to the structural awareness in particular. You know, it's like, show me where it hurts. Does it hurt when I do that? And literally, maybe with a little laugh as well, but literally go through that conversation with your kids so that they have an awareness of what's going on. I've actually had college and professional athletes not be able to answer succinctly questions like, can you tell me with your words where on your ankle it hurts the most? It's my ankle, hurts my ankle. No. You're not saying, where on your ankle does it hurt the most? Use your words. Because if they point to it, that lets them off the hook. And they're not engaged and accountable for fully sharing with me about what's going on. All right, so I've been on my soapbox enough. We're going to take another little quick break and talk a little bit about what our next segment's all about. Our next segment is one of the more, well, it's the last one, but it's definitely not the least. It's about performance results. What are we expecting? What do you expect? When you get a good massage, what should you expect? What does your professional massage therapist want you to expect? What are they looking for feedback? And if you go see a nutritionist about whatever it might be regarding your body internal consumption of foods and the impact of that food, what are some things that Nikki has expected for outcomes from that? Maybe they're general things, but we're going to talk a little bit about that for the performance results. And how frequently should I be examining my nutrition? Should I just get in kind of a pattern of eating things and just stick with it? Or are there certain things I should be aware of that might indicate I should be kind of changing this? And the same thing with, we're going to expand on what Stephanie said about at least once a month. You should be getting a massage at least once a month. Now I'm thinking if I get a massage once a month, I'm not stressed enough. I should be stressed more because I say on the inside, you can't get better if you're not challenged. You know, so I'm constant, as I told Stephanie one time, so my hands are always aching because I'm punching something somewhere. But that's an inside joke.
That.
Yeah, it's an inside joke.
We might have to put you on a twice a month plan.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, the guys are breathe, everybody breathe. I love this song. Can you tell? Well, we're talking about nutrition, the inside and outside parts of nutrition and how they connect. And on performance results, we're going to really hone in on the connection piece and how stimulating the body's structural and muscular needs, whether it's relieving stress or relieving pain in a muscle or realigning the skeletal structure, how does that connect to what I put in my body as a nutritional internal addition? If I eat the wrong things, will I have soreness? I'm not sure. We'll ask. We'll find out more about that in just a second. But I want to also point out a couple things about what the future is going to look like in the month of May. Next week, as I said, we're going to talk about Boulder and talk with Tim Catalano, Runner's Edge. He's the co-author of Runner's Edge. Good friend of mine. He knows a little bit about psychology and running long distances. Has a great story I'll share with everybody about how he got engaged after a brutal run. And he carried his engagement ring to his fiancée in his shorts. I'll leave it at that. We'll talk more next week about that. But Runner's Edge and Tim Catalano, looking forward to that. We're here with Nikki Burnett and Stephanie. I got to take a moment here. A Jakian. Potato. I love that name. I just do. I'm just sorry. I just do. Just runs. It's really good. Somebody out in the audience will be saying to me, "You said that way too much. You need to stop doing that." I'll let you guess who that might be. This is 360 Mindset Performance Talk on KUHSdenver.com. Loving it here. Thank you, Henry, for all you do for me. I need to get your red nose, bud. Here it is, right there. Right there for Henry. Pass it on. Pass on rednoseday.org. to your friends by giving them a red nose. I mean, buy them a red nose. Don't give them a red nose. So we're back with a good breath and moving forward on our last segment of the day, performance results. So what should I expect, Stephanie, after I get a massage? Are there certain things you want me to expect? Are there certain things I should feel and understand after a good massage?
Yeah, so immediately you should feel very relaxed. We call it massage brain or massage drunk. Sometimes people have the feeling of even being drunk after a good massage. You might be a little sore. A couple days after, you should still probably be sore if we worked on some major issues, but you shouldn't be in pain. So we look for that fine line between I'm sore, but I'm not in pain.
Okay, if someone said to you, because I know you debrief after that, if they said, well, I still feel a little sore here, what's your recourse? What do you say to them?
Make sure they get, plenty of water, do some stretching.
Okay.
I usually give some homework to do at home over the next couple of days and prior to their next session so they can come in prepared to do some more work. And I assess whatever's going on and we discuss that.
Good. I'm going to say this for her. Sign up for another massage.
Yeah.
Okay? Sign up for another massage. And by the way, whether you're still a little bit sore or not, even if you're just totally immersed in massage drunkenness, sign up for another massage because it's a once a month deal. And I say that, yes, commercially oriented, but we're here to help. We're here to push the edges at 360 Mindset and make sure that you understand what is good for you to make you better. Because if you're not challenged, you don't get better. So on the nutritional side, going inside your body, then Nikki, what are some things you expect when you're giving people insight? And I know everybody's different. You're giving different advice to different people on different things. But I'm guessing there's got to be a common line for everyone that you're expecting everyone should gain this.
Gosh, yeah, it could be energy, it could be stamina, it could be better health. There are lots of things that I look out for. We are different. Oh, there's so many different conditions that present to me. And so when I'm gauging someone, I know where they are. And then I ask where they are the next time and the next time and the next time. And I have a form that's filled out and I see in numbers, where are you today? Where are you different from last time? Where are you better or worse? Because that can happen as well.
Because in your situation, there's probably more of a chance of people going clinical if things are not quite in line. There's some disease orientation or something. It could go clinical versus just the more standard, fundamental, reduce the sweetness addiction you have.
Yeah.
There's a sublime in the sophisticated.
Correct.
Okay, so in general then, not in general, I'm sorry, I'll put it this way. You're seeing lots of different conditions because everybody's different. What seems to be the standard, I'm sorry, not standard, a consistent thing you're seeing happening with, and I'll break down into ages, like for young kids, middle schoolers, is there certain things you're seeing out there that moms and dads should be aware of? And then we'll move to the older group and move up from there.
Gosh, I think we're seeing more of the ADD, ADHD. I think we see a lot of that in the kids. Obviously, autism is a big one.
And are those issues impacted by nutrition or lack thereof?
Yes.
And let's say, for example, with attention deficits of whatever degree, what are some things that you would say to moms and dads that they should be avoiding?
Sugar, gluten, conventional dairy, and probably most
Once
dairy.
again, I got to take that off my list again.
You do. So the things that are typical high allergen foods are gluten, dairy, corn, soy, and eggs. Believe it or not, eggs can be a big one.
Now, are you also saying that before they see you, have they been allergy tested to see if you have those heightened areas of awareness?
Some have, some haven't. I do allergy and sensitivity testing as well. So it depends on where they were before coming to me.
Okay, so let's move then to the young adult to adult side of things. What are you seeing that are trending there that comes to you?
GI, autoimmune diseases.
Yeah, I call it gut.
Conditions. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Gut issues, lots of bloating, lots of bloating, discomfort, pain. They don't know why. Everything they eat just upsets everything.
I've been accused of bloating, but it's usually verbal. It's a different kind of
I've
bloating.
seen that as well.
Yeah.
Not everybody's happy when I tell them to quit eating gluten.
Well, and I make light of it, but I think and from a personal point of view, the gut thing, as I was saying to somebody the other day, your internal, the gut, the intestines have these little valleys that things can stick in, and they don't get flushed out. Even if you're conscientious of constantly doing water and liquids and stuff, they don't get flushed out. And here's how I know this from personal experience. I decided to get a cleanse one time. And all of a sudden I went into this feeling I couldn't breathe and I was congested, and I'm going, what the heck is going on here? I'm not around anything that causes an allergic reaction with me. Well, surprisingly enough, when I cleansed, it gets in all those little places in your intestines and cleans all that stuff out. Well, guess what? You had allergens like pollen and all this stuff stuck in there. And now it's out and doing what it did to me. Caused me to have difficulty breathing, and I couldn't breathe very well, and I felt heavy chested and all that kind of stuff. So that's a testament for me personally that you've got to be aware on a routine basis. So I want to ask you to answer the question about what is the routine? How often should I be revisiting my nutritional intake for foods and being aware of that and be cautious of doing a cleanse?
Oh, you really want to be cautious of doing cleanses. You want to be especially if the liver is involved. I don't want to get too sciencey, but you've got 3 different phases of liver detoxification. You've got an upregulation and a downregulation. Things can just, go haywire. So you want to be really careful. I'm very careful when I put my clients on a true detox that includes the liver. Now, to be aware of what you're eating, I say daily. Now, we're all going to have our times when we want that piece of chocolate, or we want, Sure. I do too. I mean, I like wine, who doesn't?
Guilty.
Yeah. But it's a matter, and I will not say everything in moderation. I hate that because moderation is different for everybody. And it gives people, in my mind, it gives people an excuse. Well, I'm just moderate. It's not that big a deal. So, little off topic, but it's a daily task of understanding what your body needs, what you're putting into it, and how is it reacting. If you get the stuffy nose, if you're getting crampy or bloaty, it's not normal.
Yeah.
These things aren't normal. So be aware and be really careful of the WebMD rabbit hole. Be very careful of researching so much.
Self-diagnosing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is why we all have our specialties.
Yeah. Well, and you made a point that's a good connection for this last segment on performance results that helps me to connect the two of you together, because there are signs that I'm sure, Stephanie, you see when you're giving someone a massage. You mentioned earlier about pain. You're sensitive to where they're giving you pain. So when Nikki mentions like the liver cleansing and kidneys are involved, bladder's involved, the diaphragm, and you have somebody kind of writhe, wriggle a little bit, and oh, I hit a sensitive spot. What are some of the signs that you see in people that cause you to say, hey, I need to stop a minute and ask you a question? There are certain things that you would recommend people being aware of before they come in?
That spectrum's all over the board too.
Yeah.
Changes in breathing, shifting positions, like you said, moving away in pain, even deepening of the breath and relaxing of the muscles. Those are all signs that something is going on in the system.
Yeah. So here's what we're saying, people out there. We're talking about nutrition inside and out, and the connection is be aware of what your body is saying to you. Now, on the physical structural side is something simple as how are you walking? Are you striding properly? Is it comfortable when you stride? Well, if it's not, and you think it's manifesting itself in your lower back, well, it's not just because it's structural necessarily. It could be an emotional thing, that stress related, or emotions plus stress that's causing that. So be aware of that, and then call Stephanie once a month. And then on the nutritional side of things, we're talking about the connection of that. Is that being exacerbated by the things you're eating? For example, I've got some pretty big athletes, right? We've got guys that are 300 pounds plus, or the smaller ones, 250. And they all go out to eat, or they have training tables. And the mindset for performance results is we want to give you as much fuel as possible so you can perform at the highest level possible. But I've got guys that come back to me and say, I had a really good meal. How do you know that? I feel stuffed. Not a good sign, is it, Nikki?
No.
Should you feel stuffed if you're properly nutritioned?
You shouldn't feel stuffed, and you also shouldn't look pregnant.
No, well, I've seen that in these guys.
Yeah, a lot of them, and it's not natural to be that distended.
Yeah.
There's something else going on. You want to feel full, and I think that's fine, but you should still have a natural flatness, maybe a little bit around, but really distended.
So
is
30
a sign
ounces of
something.
grass-fed beef in 3 minutes could be a problem?
Yeah. Too much protein is inflammatory. However good the protein is for you, too much is inflammatory. You
Yeah,
wanna
but
be
my
careful.
teammate challenged me to do that.
Yeah, you just got to say no.
Yeah, so we're saying it in a comical sort of way. There are disciplines
Right.
based on good information that will make you a better player. Now, the other side of this is I'm finding out, and this goes back to the article from American Football Coaches Association about just having coaches being the mentors to these young people. Now, you're experts, but many times they don't come to you until it's, crisis. Pain is high and nutrition has been bad, and they have a bad rash or things, I don't know, nasty things happening. And I don't want it to get to that place. Now, we're a little bit over time, I think, aren't we, Henry? I kind of got lost in my thing here. So I'm gonna start to close it up a little bit by saying we're making a connection between our nutrition, internal and external. We're here at 360 Mindset Performance Talk on KUHSdenver.com. I'm talking with Nikki Burnett and Stephanie Ajakian. Is it Ajakian or Jakian?
It's a Gakian.
See, I didn't even get it right. See, Agakian. Because that would be Armenian,
I
wouldn't it?
like a Jakian better though. I
Do
think
you?
I might start
Okay.
saying it that way.
Okay. Man. Speak up, girl. You got to know me better than that. Just tell me what this stuff is all about. Agakian. But the BodyBodyStudio.com. And Nikki Burnett at TasteLightNutrition.com. Check them out on their website. These are wonderful young women that are professional to the max. I love having these guys around. And I also should mention to you that every so often we have a 90-second in, which is when we have our experts like Nikki, who has participated in our 90 seconds and in. They have shared thoughts to a question I give them. So look forward to that. Look forward to next week. We talk to Tim Catalano on 360mindset.com about running the edge, co-author of Running the Edge and the Boulder. So we're going to kind of end the show today with a little bit of a song. Take it out. And Henry, I think we're good, but remember, red nose. This is for you, bud. This red nose is yours for rednoseday.org. Hey, thanks for being with us today. It's been great. Have a wonderful weekend. And let's try to swing into spring. Get rid of the snow, would you? What do you think? All right. Have a great day. And thanks again for everybody out there on the international scene. Thank you so much. Okay, now guys, we're still on until Henry comes in. We're still on that blue camera, so you can talk. They'll still hear us. So thank you, the international crowd out there. Thank you so much for being with us. Keep tuning in. We want to make this thing go viral, so keep looking in at KUHSdenver.com. And thanks to Nikki and Stephanie for Ajakian. It's a small thing, but important too. Have a great weekend, everybody out there, wherever you are.